Can we stop pretending that Marvel is good, please? I see so much fake stuff on freaking Twitter, it kills me. I don't want to use Twitter, but I feel like I have to because I gotta do socials, and it just depresses me every time I get on it. Because there's so many fake people. There's so many people pretending that this stuff is good and saying that this is like the best thing that they've ever seen. And it's so pathetically fake that I want to vomit every time. No webcam today because I am sick, and I'm not just sick as far as runny nose, sore throat, and diarrhea. I'm sick because I'm tired of seeing fake stuff from fans, so-called fans, who really just don't understand what freaking good storytelling is. Like, it seems like no one understands it anymore. Or if you go on Twitter and follow it, it seems that way. But it's not. Like, that's not the case at all. People know what a good story is, and you can tell because the recent Marvel and DC movies have all been bombing. It has all been downhill for all of these big, gigantic corporation film companies. It has just been a gigantic downfall. And the more independent stuff, the more things that are not attached to these types of brands of series are doing better. You've got Oppenheimer, Barbie, the Super Mario Brothers movie, which, yeah, obviously all of these are pretty huge names, right? But they're not attached to like Marvel or DC. They're not attached to Star Wars. They're all somewhat, independent films that, are doing their own thing as opposed to just falling in this format of Marvel and DC, what they're doing. Marvel is so overdone with jokes. It is painful. It is so disgustingly painful. I hate watching everything from them. I used to be a big fan of like the MCU. I used to really like the good old early days. But man, if it's just a chore to watch today, it is just painfully hard to watch because the humor is so bad. The storytelling is non-existent. And on top of this, the logic doesn't even make sense now. There's like blatant just plot holes that are being made by the second. Like every new thing feels like there's a new stupid plot hole in everything that just makes it worse and worse. So just to bring up a few from the What If series, from What If season 2, Wanda can apparently bring people from other universes into the existing universe she's in. And it's like, well, why couldn't she just do that for her kids then? Why couldn't she just do that instead of trying to body snatch another Wanda? Like, what is the purpose? What's the purpose of Multiverse of Madness if she could just do that in the first place? Wouldn't the plot be better if she could do that? Wouldn't the plot just be better to have her, kidnap two kids and then have Doctor Strange have to fight to bring them back? But no, they can't do that because they had to bring in America Chavez, which effectively does the same power. If Wanda can bring people from different universes into her universe, then what is the purpose of freaking Chavez? There's not really a purpose. There's nothing. There's nothing worth talking about in a logical. I can't even describe it. It's like it's so illogical that it hurts. I can't begin to just talk about why this doesn't make sense because there's too much at this point. There's too many things that don't make sense and it hurts. But the other thing that I'm really frustrated with today and what caused me to make this video in the first place was the way that they have absolutely zero respect for anything. And I mean anything. Freaking Thanos, the main big bad of the Infinity Saga at Endgame, all the way from the first movie to Endgame, is when they started, well, not the first movie, Iron Man, but, they started sort of teasing it in Avengers. And it went all the way until Endgame. And that's when the MCU ended, right? Endgame, that's the end of the MCU. Everything after this has been a failure, right? There's been very few successes after Endgame. And it's because they've lost the plot. They've lost all sense of logic. They've lost all sense of planning. and proper character writing. They cannot do it anymore. They cannot bring themselves to do it anymore. They don't have the talent. They don't have the skill. They don't have the ability to do these things. And it's rather unfortunate because all the fans of Marvel get to watch this slop constantly be thrown out with no say in the matter, with no ability to stop it. But basically, Thanos, the big bad of the MCU up until Endgame, he is treated like a joke in this, and like every What If episode, it is so annoying. At this point, it is just annoying to see that this is constantly the case. That just everything that was built up to Thanos' reveal as the main antagonist, it means nothing now because everything doesn't mean anything anymore because it's just, oh, it's a joke. Haha, he died again. Haha, very funny. And then immediately after this most recent one in the finale of What If Season 2, immediately after this, Killmonger freaking walks in. He's got the Ultron armor and the Infinity Stones. He's got all of those. He snaps Thanos out of existence and then basically presents himself as a threat. Now, this is a guy who needed the evil, Doctor Strange to guard him. This is a guy who was so dangerous that he needed someone to guard him for all of eternity. And he just immediately gets defeated by this brand new character, which I have no problem with them introducing a brand new character. But this new character just defeats him in a second. And it's like, what is the purpose? Why should I ever believe in stakes? Why should I ever fear for the characters whenever stuff like this can happen? Because now, especially if this character gets put into live action, right? If this new character does, I should never, ever have any sort of fear of any character dying unless the writers just feel like killing that character. Because as long as characters as overpowered as this exist and they're on the good guys, it's like there's nothing. There is nothing that can handle this. And I mean, just the problem with the multiverse, and especially in the way that Marvel has implemented, is that because there are characters that can hop from different universes, all the weapons being overpoweredly combined, like freaking what's her name, Carter, and the new character do. It's like, if they can just do this, they can hop dimensions by one way or another, then like whatever. Like I don't care anymore because any threat that can possibly be established doesn't mean anything because these overpowered characters just pop in and save the day without any issue at all. And it's like, what happened? What happened? Before, in Endgame and before, we had stakes. We had build-up. We had threats. We had things that you actually could see be a danger to every character in the MCU. And now we just have nothing. Now everything is a joke. Everything is a punchline. Everything is not serious. It's like, this is more light and immature than cartoons at this point. Earth's Mightiest Heroes have told, in general, a much better cohesive story than the MCU has at this point. It has been so damaged by everything after Endgame that it is painful. And I'm not going to say that everything before Endgame was perfect. Obviously, there was some hit and miss things. People are kind of mid about Ant-Man. People are kind of mid about Ant-Man and the Wasp. People are kind of mid about Captain Marvel. And so even some of the Iron Man movies. But like, and the Thor movies. Like, not everything was perfect, but it was at least cohesive. It was at least building up to something that was important. It was at least setting up all this stuff for a major payoff. And we just have not had that. Phase 4 went without doing much of anything. Phase 4 just did absolutely nothing. Phase 5 started with a bomb, because he had Quantumania, which was terrible. And just like everything after that has just been pathetic. Everything after that has bombed. Everything after that has been like just really unenjoyable and bland. And it's just, it continues with What If. And might I just add, why does What If need a story? This is What If should be a compilation of short stories. That's all it should be. It should not have an overarching story. I do not care. I come to this series to see these what if situations from the existing MCU to see what would happen if this changed. That's all I want from the series. That's all anyone wants from the series. And it's like, for some reason, it's trying to tell this story because it has to be part of the MCU, of course. It can't just be its own thing. No. God forbid we just have something for fun and not try and attach it to this overly complicated, overly hyped, overly done, boring cinematic universe now. I think it's just time to hit the reset button. I've said this a few times. I think it's just time to go the way of DC and just hit the reset. Marvel has been much more successful than DC when it comes to having a large cinematic universe, but it's just time to let it die. It's just time to let it go because there's no hype. There's no hype. Like the comic books have no hype, the movies have no hype, the shows have no hype. It's time to just stop. It's time to just stop. All the stuff you see on Twitter is fake. Not a single person in their right mind can say that what we've been getting in the past few years has been good, because it hasn't. You get a few things that show, some creativity, that show some cool ideas, but overall everything has been extremely mid at best. And it's time to stop faking it. It's time to actually just stop. It's time to let it go, let it die, and just do something else. Let's hit the reset button. Let's get some new actors in. Let's get some new characters or newly shown characters. We can bring back Iron Man. We can bring back Thor. And no, I don't want a final movie to explain why we're shifting to the perspective of a new universe. No one wants it. Get the freaking multiverse out of here. No one likes it. We want a fresh restart that has nothing to do with the old one. We want a new story. We want a chance to have something more instead of continuing to run the MCU, what was once a fantastic series of movies and shows, into the ground. We're tired of seeing it. Just give us a reset, admit defeat, and stop faking enthusiasm. Because as long as you keep faking it, these idiots in Hollywood will think you're real. They can't tell what's real and fake. They don't have souls. All they see is dollar signs. And as long as you on Twitter are showing them fake dollar signs, they will take it. They will take it and keep losing money. So that's all I've got to say. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, peace out.